Hey guys, Jessica here from ACP Accounting. As most of you know, I don't typically meet clients on Fridays. I use that time to catch up on tax returns and online school now. So if you see or hear a child, I am sorry, they are here doing homework. But today I wanted to take some time in a super casual way to try to explain to you the Corona related tax family leave act that's been put into place. So it is a little bit confusing. So just kind of bear with me as we work through this together. I'm going to be sending this out to you as an example so you can figure out what you need to do. Let me start by saying if you are a small business that has less than 50 employees, you do not have to participate in the act. If you are a business that has less than 50 employees but wants to participate in the act, you can. So that the act is the Families First Coronavirus Response Act. So they're calling it FFCRA. I'm probably going to say that wrong like 10 more times, so just bear with me. So an employee becomes eligible if they have been quarantined, if they have shown symptoms, if you have sent them home, if they are truly sick. They are also eligible if they are working from home, if their hours have been cut, all of those things, because their children are out of school. So if they've been affected by the coronavirus at all and they are making less money, then this is where this would come into play. This is sick time. So what would happen here is, let's say that I typically have an employee that works 40 hours and I pay them $20 an hour. We're going to try to do some math here together. They have worked 20 hours. That is my responsibility to pay them because their hours were cut from 40 to 20. I will pay them their $20 an hour for that normal time. But then I will pay them for 20 hours up to 2/3 of their pay, not exceeding more than $511 per day. So the way that works is I have $20 an hour times 0.66, we're just trying to get close, is 13.32. So for that last 20 hours, I'm paying them $13.32. So now I have a check for them for their full 40 hours for $666.40. So I know this is kind of difficult to see, and I'm not the best at this. You all know how much I love technology, but we have the two different pay rates, and we have their gross pay. We are going to deduct Social Security and Medicare out of their check just like we normally would. So we would take the $666.40. We would times that by 6.2%. So I would deduct $41.32 for Social Security. Then I have to take Medicare out of their check, which is the 1.45%. I don't expect all of you to know all of these percentages. This is what we are doing in your payroll every time we run a payroll for you. So then we subtract $9.66 for Medicare. We have not heard anything about state withholding yet and how they are going to treat the state withholding. That is going to be left up to the individual state because, as some of you know, not every state has state withholding. So I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say if your employee has state withholding taken from their check, you will be responsible for that, paying that tax. That tax isn't going to get forgiven or reimbursed yet. Each state is going to treat that a little bit differently. So then I'm going to take their federal withholding out of their check. So let's say that they take around 10% out. So I'm going to subtract $66 for federal withholding. So now an employee is going to receive a check for 20 hours of regular work time and 20 hours of sick time at two-thirds the rate. So now I have a net of $549.42. Typically, the employer has to match these two taxes, the Social Security and Medicare, right? So we would do an payroll tax deposit for you on the 15th of the month or every pay cycle, depending on how you're set up, for a total of $167.96. The credit, essentially, to make this easier, we would have actually done this in 2 checks. So just FYI, people might be getting multiple checks to make this a little bit easier. Otherwise, I'm going to drive Adam crazy with all of these calculations. So this normal payment of $167.96 could be something that you keep as part of paying the employee the $266. So you were out the $266 plus the Social Security and Medicare of your portion. So that gets you to about $310. Of the 310, you've got 168 back. Then there is supposed to be a way to receive instant money from the IRS for these credits for these 2 weeks. We do not have that information yet. The IRS says that they're hoping that they have it posted next week, how we can receive those additional refunds. So my thought process is, if you are going to offer this to your employees, be prepared to be without that revenue for 2 to 3 weeks. I think that once it's up and going, it will work a little bit differently. But for now, since we don't even know how you're going to get the credit, and it typically takes about 2 weeks for a refund to come back from the IRS, that's the whole time that I would ballpark. Now, after the 2 weeks, your employee is still eligible to receive this credit. The credit comes from the Social Security Administration. So then they would file with the Social Security Administration. And that is going to be something that is completely different from us. And we're not exactly sure how that process is going to work yet either. But they should be eligible for the credit for up to 10 weeks. The employer can only do the credit for 2 weeks, from what I understand, and that may change a little bit, but because I could see the argument for 3 weeks based off of the legislation, but it does look like everything does say 80 hours. So they can provide up to 2 weeks, 80 hours, so that it could go over 2 weeks if you only have an employee who works 20 hours a week and they have been laid off, then obviously it could go 4 weeks. This leave could go up to a total of 12 weeks as of now. After the employee has finished their 80 hours with you, they would file with the Social Security Administration. And at that point, they would handle paying the employee and you wouldn't have to do anything on your end. Are owners eligible for this credit? I believe so, but I don't think it's a I don't think it's a good idea to do right now unless we get some more information. So here's my thought process. If I normally have you take a $20,000 W-2, your income is still $20,000 plus whatever your profit is in your company. Let's say that's 30. Normally, we get to deduct what you spend as payroll from your profitability in your company, right? So if your profit was 50,000 and you did 20,000 on payroll, you have a $30,000 K1 and a $20,000 W-2. The way that the payroll is going to work on this side is it's going to get reimbursed to you. So there's not going to be an expense there. So your profit on your K1 is still going to be 50,000 over here. But on top of that, sorry, we're going to have a W-2 for $20,000. So I think that we could actually end up creating a bigger problem because the W-2 looks like it will be normal income for your employee. Normal taxes are going to be taken out of it. It would be included in your adjusted gross in their adjusted gross income. It's how they would file their tax return. So it doesn't look like this is tax-free money at all because it's ran through payroll and we are instructed to take taxes out of it. So I do not think that owners should do this yet. I may change my mind in 2 days after I read it. But this is available for your employees. There should be some relief coming in the stimulus bill that was passed. So from watching Ducey, he's waiting to see how they are going to release those funds. And once those funds are released, Then he's going to make some decisions about how to distribute them. And supposedly they have a plan in place. So there are things that are going to be available to our owners. This is just simply for your employees and their families. So if you have employees that have been affected by this and you want to partake in this, this will start next week. So you need to email Adam and I ask that you be patient because we are trying to figure it out. But for now, it looks like it would just be a normal payroll. You would send the hours, you would specify that they were sick time. Adam is going to create a separate sick time pay in your payroll so we can keep track of it. And then hopefully at the beginning of next week, we have the guidance on how you can receive the rest of that refund credit. If you have any questions about this, please email Adam and I both at the same time. We are all learning in this together. It's not very often that we get tax legislation during the middle of tax season. So we are still trying to file tax returns and help keep all of our businesses informed. So it is a little wonky around here on top of online school and the kids being here every day. So it's been very interesting, but just bear with us. We'll get through it together. Um, I do want you to know that the SBA has a bunch of resources on their page, and the newest legislation should really gear more towards our sole proprietors, our Schedule C people. So we'll keep that information coming as soon as we get it. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. And have a great day. Stay safe.